this car doesn't have it's not road legal. It has an air suspension fault. And he's like, yeah, but what kind of wheels would work on it?
And he came back one day and he was like, yeah, I saw on the side of the road some Bugattis. And I was like, we didn't, did you? Welcome back to the Cars Rule Everything Around Me podcast, number 6, with myself, Edwin Klinkenberg. Very sick. Apologies for that. And William Chandler. You're also
less sick,
but still.
I'm on the up.
Apologies. Yeah. Every single week we ask the question at the beginning of the podcast: do cars rule everything around you, or do they ruin everything around you? And before we begin, may I just let me be presumptuous? If it was yesterday, maybe 12 o'clock, I think we'd both be in rule.
Yeah, we'd be way up.
We'd
there.
be happy.
Yeah. Actually, I'd be halfway there for another reason. But
so I'd be halfway there as well. I'd be like, I think I'm going to be happy, and it's ruined for me.
Yeah.
Would you like to start with your? And you are sorry.
I'm ruined.
And you're also William.
I'm Will. I'm a car man, and I'm in ruin.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Will.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yesterday, we went on a little trip.
We did.
For a couple of cars.
Yeah.
I bought a 2012 Range Rover Westminster for a very, very cheap price, £4,200.
In a very, very close location.
In it 5 hours away.
5 hours away in Scotland.
Yeah. Not quite, almost
just Scotland, just touching the border.
But it's basically bloody Scotland. Everyone sounds like Scotland.
And I said, I was like, I'll come with you. I'll drive you there because there's a car I want to see on the way back. So up we went.
And here we are. We got one.
We got one. How's it going? How's your Range Rover?
It's really nice, actually. Yeah, I did have to do 30 miles an hour on the motorway this morning because it said air suspension fault, limited to 30 miles an hour. I pulled over, got out of the car, and he was slammed.
Yeah.
We'll
put the picture up that you sent in our chat this morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not good.
One of my biggest L's so far. It's fine now, though. It's parked outside at normal ride height. So
what happens. I'm
going to pray. I'm going to pray.
And mine's, I've got a little story with mine, and it is very upsetting. So in a previous podcast, I mentioned that I was really wanting a Mercedes C55 AMG. I had a want for an AMG. I said that I didn't want to pay the silly prices that everyone's got them listed for because that's more than an E55 AMG, which is it's much cooler, bigger brother. It's a supercharged V8. That one, that's the one. And I've always wanted one of those, but a little bit out of price range. After that podcast, Taylor said I got DM'd by a guy who said I've got a very cheap one, and it's perfect. It's in perfect condition, other than the fact it has air suspension problems, which on those generation of Mercedes is bad news. They can write off the car cost-wise. If you need to replace all 4 struts, if it's from Mercedes, it's something like 15 grand.
Nice.
If it's aftermarket Chinese parts, they're like 4 grand for a set.
That's a good discount.
Which is a great discount.
Yeah, but it's still a lot of money.
It's still a lot of money. But I thought, I bet you there's a couple of ways around this. I'm sure we can make this work and it'd be a good video. So let's go up and look at this. And it was also 3 hours away in the same sort of direction as the Range Rover. And so I was getting my hopes up. I was looking at wheels. I was looking at buying things for this car.
This was crazy. Edwin was like, what wheels would work on it? I was like, this car doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, this car doesn't have it's not road legal.
No, it's been off the road for 4 years.
It has an air suspension fault. And he's like, yeah, but what kind of wheels would work on it?
Yeah.
At least they need to go round and round before you put new ones on it.
Yeah. So, and also I was doing this off of 2 photos he'd sent and some information. But I got my hopes up because I was told it's basically that. It was 87,000 miles as a low mileage car. And that was the only issue with it. It had a suspension fault and went off the road. So I went to go and look at the car. And if he was a viewer and a listener. So if you're listening, thank you very much for having us around. But that car needed so much work to get back on the road. And I wanted it as a winter daily for this winter, not winter 2035.
No. It was tough times for that car.
Oh. That car, I honestly think it might be a better parts car than anything.
That car to me, when I looked around it, I was like, this would be a car you take the engine out of for another E55 or a project or something. Everything else is bits and bobs, really.
Yeah. And it was cheap if it had have been working other than the air suspension, but at the price it was at, it was too much. And so I went home absolutely saddened and disappointed while you drove behind me in your new Range Rover. Yeah, so I was very annoyed.
Hey, look,
and then when I woke up this morning, I was fine.
So also, I took a trailer on a nice little journey yesterday.
Yeah, trailer went all the way up to Scotland, came back down, empty. Ben, sorry, also, I just want to show, people probably can't see right now. Well, I was just going to describe it. Ben's GoPro is sat on a bin and his laptop is sat on a box that is upside down.
This is the bin.
That's
It's
Ben's
sat
bin.
on my trash box. My laptop is on there. We run a very professional
This is a
setup here.
professional setup. But we decided, you know what? Let's include Ben. You guys have been putting in the comments some of your, rules and ruins. But Ben, you're part of the gang. Tell us about it.
It's coming up on a rule because I have bought a new car.
You have.
I've bought Will's
We haven't bought it.
X5.
You haven't bought it yet.
I've agreed to buy it.
I don't have
because-
the money yet.
Because also Will
I
needs,
need the money.
Well, we shook on it.
Well, he also needs the car because his Range Rover's broken.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So it's
It's-
currently not a rule yet because I haven't got it.
I need the car because the Range Rover is broken, but I need you to give me the money to fix the Range Rover.
Also,
So
it's a
I'm not
big
sure what to do here.
It's a big game of Uno switch around because
Rory bought the Westminster.
Rory bought the Westminster and sold it to Will. Will's selling his X5 to Ben. Ben is selling his E61 5 Series to Taylor, which means I have to buy something off Taylor.
So you're buying the E61 off Taylor.
Do you wanna
No,
know-
thanks.
Do you
Yeah.
want to know something really bad, Ben?
What?
You won't like this. Taylor wanted to cut you out.
He did,
altogether. You know the Range Rover, sorry, I don't know if we mentioned this as well, the Range Rover Rory has bought from Taylor.
Another one, so it's a
This is
different car.
Different Range Rover, but very similar. There was another Range Rover, Mr. President, and Rory has bought it, but Taylor said to me, why don't we cut Ben out of this situation? You buy my Range Rover and he buys the X5, and then you would have kept the E61.
Yeah, you would have still been left without a daily.
If you sell the X5 to someone else,
I
won't do
mean,
much.
I've bought the
You
Range
can.
Rover. I bought the other Range Rover now. So it's transfer
okay.
silly season here at Auto Alex
Yeah.
HQ.
It's a bit hard to keep up, but all you need to know is everyone loses.
Yeah, we've all lost.
everyone loses.
Everyone gives their crap car to the next person.
Everyone, give it to the next person.
Give it to the person to your right.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Double it and give it to the next person.
So a week of ruin, really, for all of us. Somehow Ben's beaten us, but
Not yet, though.
Not yet.
At some
Shall we-
point, hopefully, at some point in the next week or so,
you'll be
it's
up.
a route. Maybe
You'll
the
be
next episode.
Well, Ben, you did want to buy what's next. So next to me, if you're watching the podcast, yes, if you're watching it, not listening to it, you will see my partner on the sofa. We've got a guest this week, and it's an 18-inch Porsche wheel. And it's not for my 996 911. It's for another Porsche, which you would have just seen if you watched our YouTube channel, Top Dead Center. This is a little sneak peek of what's to come. And Ben wants that car. He wants
yes.
I really
the car
want
that
that
I've
car.
bought. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. We bought some sports cars for cheap, but not going anywhere, mate. Ben, you're not allowed to buy the car.
That's fine. I've said this because I really want the car. I can't really afford the car, but I really want the car. So I said to the guy today, I was like, just tell me I can't have it. Just tell me I'm not allowed to buy it, and then it's fine.
He came up to us and went, "Can you please just tell me? Can you just say it so that I don't ever have to hope?"
Just put me out of my misery,
Yeah.
please.
So that's it.
Should we talk about this very quickly?
Very quickly.
Our new, so that's just, well, actually, it's quite relatively interesting, to be fair. We've talked about car auction prices before. So we wanted to do a sports car series on YouTube, but we bought both the cars from an auction. And we got some mega deals.
Oh,
and actually, if you have also watched the video that should have just gone out, hopefully, you will see how good of a deal both of those actually have been.
Yeah.
So you bought
A Porsche Boxster 3.2 S manual, the big one. It's a Boxster. It's still a little.
But it's the best you could have bought.
It's the best box that
basically,
you could have bought, and it was £3,500,
which is ridiculous. And for reference, 5, maybe 4.5,
yeah,
5.
yeah. And you bought
I bought a 350Z.
Cool.
The very last model, the HR high revving,
the big one.
most power, 300 horsepower plus, blah blah blah, for £3,200.
Ridiculous. The market is a great place to buy.
Yeah.
If you're selling a car right now, I feel really bad
It's
for you.
tough times.
But it's the way it goes.
There's stuff out, but I mean, for those two cars, sub $7,000 for both of those.
Ridiculous.
You would struggle in some cases to get one of them for that price.
Well, you bought the car yourself because of how good of a deal it was. It was too good of a deal to let the company buy that you bought it.
We were looking for sports cars, and actually, I had been looking at 350Zs
Yeah.
as a daily, which is why the Range Rover thing is kind of annoying. Actually, that I had to buy that. I had to buy the Range Rover, but I was like, a 350Z, surely it's like, it can't be that worse on fuel. It's only motorway miles.
Well, also, you were struggling to find one for sale.
Yeah, I couldn't. All the ones I could find were really early cars,
Yeah.
rusty, badly modified, and then this one, it's not perfect. Like it's got some slightly dodgy mods on it, but it's pretty good.
But the thing about it was that you were looking on Facebook, you were looking on Auto Trader, you were looking at all that sort of stuff, and there wasn't any, even the lower models, for under 4.
No, like a sub 4, you were looking at like crash damaged cars.
Yeah, and then while we were on the way to lunch, usually I tend to drive to lunch. And I was like, you know what, Rory, you can drive today. And I sat in the back and I was like, no, we just go through some auctions while we're on the way. and popped up, ending in 2 hours, 350Z. I looked at it, I saw the bulge on the bonnet, which on a 350Z means it's the HR, it's the big boy. And it said £3,200, no bids.
Yeah.
I just handed it to Will and went, "Here you go, mate." And he went, "What?"
I panicked a bit as well. I think I put my max bid at 3.8, and I was like, someone's going to outbid me.
Yeah.
Because the next one for sale is £5,000.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way no one outbids me at 3.8, and there it was sold at 3.2.
Incredible. So we are in a bit of win. We're in a bit of rule,
wins,
but it's the rest of the week has been so downhill. That, also, we've stopped pre-filming the podcast. So now this comes out. Was it come on Wednesdays or Thursdays? If you're listening
Thursday mornings,
we have filmed this just for the previous week on Friday. So we're now current.
You're
again.
up to date.
Lots of you are commenting, I'm hearing old news. Fine, we'll make it a little bit more current.
Fine.
And speaking of, let's do some news.
Let's have some news. Jaguar CX-75. Jaguar haven't come out with it.
Mr.
Callum has.
Callum, yeah. Ian. One of them.
He's ex-Jaguar designer.
Vanquish as well. He did Vanquish.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
His one.
I agree. It was a bit
chintzy.
Yeah. The original Vanquish was fine.
Such a nice, clean-looking style car.
I actually think you could take, if you just took the Vanquish, the original, the Die Another Day Vanquish, and gave it a better interior, that would be perfect Vanquish.
Yeah, agreed.
A Singer Vanquish.
Oh.
Whereas he kind of, I know, he knows his onions.
The wheels, yeah.
He's the guy, I'm not going to question him, but I'm questioning him. I don't like that.
But how many stance threads has he been on?
But the CX-75, if you don't know what that is, it was like a mid-engine Jag hyper supercar thing. But it was only really a concept.
Yeah.
It was in Spectre.
Yeah, James Bond.
It was the baddies car in that. It had a 1.6 litre four-cylinder.
Four-cylinder.
It was a hybrid, so it was fairly powerful.
Was it originally supposed to be like a jet or something?
Yeah, because it had a big thing. In the film, it has that. The guy pushes the button and
he goes shooting off.
Yeah, he goes rocketing off to the moon.
But so there was a second chassis, Mr. President, that wasn't used or something, and he's taken it.
Yeah. And they've made the interior better, and they've put the 5-litre supercharged V8, which I don't think they use anymore.
Oh, but that's F-Type SVR?
Yeah,
or
F-Type
something.
Range Rover, like 5-litre Jag Land Rover V8.
Which is great engine when it works.
Which is great. And it sounds great as
well.
It
does sound very good.
With a 7-speed dual clutch, because the concept one with the 1.6 and other stuff was a motorsport sequential gearbox. Because it's not going into That's the thing with concepts, they always just go, we can get that, it doesn't matter if it needs to be production, so it doesn't matter.
I like the idea of them having that in James Bond. Just going
but that looks cool. I think it's a really good looking car.
Yeah, that is a genuinely good car. Also, speaking of, Ben told me about this earlier, Jaguar, similar Jaguar news, just not making cars.
Yeah, it's not selling them.
You know what? Actually, I'm a car manufacturer. I'm not going to manufacture any cars.
We'll sell you one, but it'll be used.
It'll be old.
Because
we what they want to redo for electric stuff?
Yeah, I think they're gearing up for the old Lecky. Lecky, possibly a mistake, but
who knows, man?
Yeah,
enjoy Jaguar.
But that's just,
what else we got?
It's probably for the best because they're all getting stolen anyway.
This is true.
The amount of Range Rovers you see that just gets newer Range Rovers that get, even that Range Rover that I've now bought, I went to do insurance quotes on it. Even that's an older Range Rover.
Yeah.
And so not actually one of the ones that gets nicked all the time, but because it is a Range Rover, insurance companies go, well, no.
I couldn't.
We don't want to touch that. It's going to get nicked, mate.
Also, my temp cover account that we use, so temporary insurance for stuff, you couldn't get a quote.
No, I couldn't get a quote.
So I decided that I'd put my I check it on mine. It couldn't give me a quote, and now temp cover won't give me a quote at all.
Oh, really?
It's broken it. Putting a Range Rover in once, they've gone, we're not even touching you now.
Since, damn.
We won't let you have anything now. So I'm a bit worried because I use that a lot. So we got anything else?
What else we got? What's interesting? New GT3.
New GT3, cool. It's very... Look, like you know what? I'm usually in the camp of they don't look all the same. They are a little bit... That one looks the same. Ben showed me the video of Chris Harris walking around it, and I was like, is this an old video? Or
but
what's this?
You can have a GT3 now with back seats.
Yes. Yeah.
But I don't know why.
But I think it's because of how many Tourings they see sell. I honestly believe...
But do Tourings have back seats?
No, but I'm saying... Oh, what?
Do Tourings have back seats?
Benjamin, our resident Porsche expert. Jamie, pull it up.
Because you have Google in front of you.
Pretty sure they do have back seats.
Okay. They do?
But I've never seen a Touring with a cage.
So interesting. So you might be able to... But I think it's part of that whole hype of they're realising that motorsport people aren't buying GT3 anymore. London posh Instagram people are being like, no, yeah, look at the spec. It's PTS green, blue. Yeah. It's a one of one.
Tooth.
Yeah, I bought it's £400,000. It's 200 over list. Oh, it's lovely. Ugh, drive the car, man. Do some skids in it. Come back to me when they're...
From what I can see, apparently 9.2 is the first one with rear seats.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Touring was just a GT3. This new one is the first GT3 to have an option of back seats.
Interesting.
Optional though, still optional.
Optional, okay.
So it comes
still-
standard without, I believe, and you have to option it in.
No, I just don't get it. Well, I do.
Also,
But also, who's getting in there?
yeah, that's the thing I was going to say. Like, so my dad, when I came back, so I used to live in South Africa when I was growing up. And we'd come back to the UK for summer holiday when I was on summer holiday at school. And my dad would always buy the cheapest, shittest sports car thing he could find for the money. So one year it was a purple TVR Camaro. That thing was cool. I think it was very cool.
Family
but there
car.
was only two seats in that, so I actually had to sit on people's laps most of the time. It's great forward thinking. And then sold that and then got a 996 Cabrio, like the cheapest one he could find. And for a summer, I sat in the back of that on the way down, like up north, down to Devon. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It is hell sitting in the back of one of those.
You have to be. It's not just a child. You have to be like a toddler.
You have to be a rice grain, and that's the only way you're doing it.
You cannot have You cannot have any grain of consciousness.
No,
It's just.
it's simply not for
Yeah.
it. I genuinely think, I thought at times, I'm not joking this, at times I was thinking, I think I'd be more comfortable right now if they put me in the bonnet.
Yeah.
Under the front.
Or in the engine.
Yeah.
It's crammed in there with the
Just
oil.
get rid of all the seats, half
Yeah.
them. There's no point. Maybe in like a 930 or something, in an older one.
I get it's kind of, it's like emergency seating. It's like
Yeah.
if you had to take 4 or 3, 3.5, 2.5 people, you could.
Someone loses a leg.
It's not exactly for, you're not buying it to go, I can now comfortably seat 4 daily.
Also, I'm sure there's some regulation reason why they do it, or it's
Yeah.
like a 4-seater car is cheaper, whatever.
But I don't know how I'd fit. If I saw a GT3 with 4 seats, I think it's a replica.
Yes.
Where'd you get those from?
Is that 996? What's going on there?
What are four fully grown adults in that GT3? But still, GT3 again. I will joke about it that it looks the same, but 9,000 RPM. Manual,
I would give anything to have a go on one.
That's cool. It's a very cool engine, and
Yeah.
if they ever stop making it, I'd be very, very, very upset.
Also, any GT3, even like a 996, I'm on board with a 997.
I
They're
love
just
the
all cool.
997.
We saw, so because of the Porsche that we bought, we went to a family friend of ours called Ray Northway, who's down the road, and he had in his like sales room bit, or in his storage room bit, so I don't know if I can talk about it. Sorry, Ray. A red 997 GT3, non-RS, just the clean guy. That's good.
There was also a white early 991, which if
GT3,
you look at
yeah.
GT3, which if you look at 991 GT3s, that is white. All the cheapest ones are white.
Oh, white, yeah. That's the launch spec.
There'll be reasons for that. Like it's just the cheapest version of it, but still.
Yeah. I think
That's
that's
just
also still called Carrara white.
Carrera.
Yeah, I always used to get so good. I'd be like, actually, that's not. Cool, that's Porsche news.
Porsche news.
In Porsche news this week, they're all the same.
Yeah,
Come back
Porsche.
for Porsche news next week, they're all the same.
Still in the back. Something we haven't covered yet because it came out the day after we shot our last podcast. So it is slightly old news, but newer than we've had before. F80 Ferrari,
The Ferrari,
not the
not the BMW.
Yeah, which is that is really annoying.
Also, when they were like, the code name, F250, no, that's also a car.
That's
Stop naming things other things.
This is the Ferrari F250 Super Duty. Yeah. It's got 4 rear wheels.
It's got an EcoBoost V6 in it, so yeah. Why not?
I mean, we kind of knew it was happening from the rumors, but the new big hypercar from Ferrari has a V6 in it.
Yeah.
Now, a part of me doesn't want to sound like an old man and go, well, you can't do that, because obviously there was the F40, which was a V8,
Agreed.
in a time where you could have had a massive
they
NA
could have had a
V12.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
they went with an F. But again, it was its party piece was like the Ferrari F40. That is Ferrari's big flagship car, but it's turbocharged. That was that was its thing.
Yeah.
It was lightweight. It was
different.
turbocharged, and then you had the F50. It has a V12 that, well, it's not an F1 V12, but it comes from that basically.
Which, to be fair, is what the V6's motorsport
The V6, I believe, is from the Le Mans, or like based on what on the Le Mans car, because they won Le Mans after many years of not. And they were like, shit, we need to make a car out of this. Also, how many? No, they haven't skipped years, have they?
What?
No, they haven't.
What's that?
'Cause it's more than 10 years, isn't it? Right?
Since LaFerrari?
LaFerrari.
What was that, 2011, 2010?
Oh, no, maybe it is. It's 2014. I think it's 2014.
Oh, maybe.
Anyway. But I actually think, I do think the new one looks really good.
I love the design of it. Everyone seems to not like it. I don't even care that much about the plinth on the front. I agree it would be nicer if it was.
Someone did a render where they removed it, and it's better.
It's better. But I still think it's a really good looking thing.
I think it's a really
Ben
good
hates
looking
it. Ben behind the camera. That's a big shake from Ben. But I think it's a good looking thing. It's got, I was saying this to you, it's 2024. What year are we in? Yeah, 24. 2024 F50. If the F50 was built in 2024, it would look like that. There's little rear over the top. I like that.
Racing drive engine and like,
Also,
and it's obviously hybrid.
If you're a nerd like us, sorry, what kind of nerd would find that interesting? Wow.
Ah, yes. I don't know where.
If you're a nerd like us, both of our brains aren't functioning that well right now. There is a configurator for the Ferrari right now. There's some nice specs you can make on that guy.
I've ordered 2.
Yeah. Ferrari like, this guy in England.
They're like, can you pay, please?
He's put 20 together. And
I can't. I actually can't. Would you take a Range Rover?
Suspension works sometimes. So
they've got some cool spec. I mean, it's I don't know. I again, it might be an age thing, but I don't get the same excitement out of it.
Well, Ben said it, and I've seen it a few times on online as well, and I do agree with it. V6 would be fine if we're like, look, we can only be V6 now. There's a V12 in your 4x4. You had a V12.
Although, if they had put the V12 in it, right, it would probably be very similar to the LaFerrari. The LaFerrari was a V12 hybrid. They haven't exactly, obviously there's the 12
Cylindri.
12 cylinders. Another reason.
Great Ferrari naming,
Britain could never.
It's a fucking fun.
But they have that, so they still utilise that. Was it 6.5 litre V12? I think now. But had they done that, everyone just goes, "Oh, it's the same."
But
so I think people still would have moaned.
Agreed.
Had they done this is just the same as a LaFerrari.
But would you not have moaned less?
This
V12, V6.
No, but I do think you would have looked at it and gone, "You've had 10 years,
true,
and you've just added 4-wheel drive."
But I feel like you've had 10 years and you went for a V6.
True.
You could have made something even more special.
True.
But again, this is verging on the things used to be better in the old days.
Yeah, in the old days. But if it was like I don't know. I think because things like the Aston Martin Valkyrie and the GMA exist.
Exactly.
You're like, these feel special.
They mistimed it by about 2 years.
Yeah.
If they had brought it out there, everyone would be like, that's a great one.
Crazy.
Ferrari watching it, people releasing Cosworth V12s.
No.
Oh, we're double. Right.
Also, they're making more numbers, I guess, but still.
Also, it's Ferrari. It is built simply so that they may make money.
I'll wait till I drive one.
Yeah. When mine arrives, my spec is looking great as well. Anything else on news?
We've already spoken about Jaguar. McLaren potentially being sold again.
Yeah.
I believe. Is it Q8?
So it's the second time in 8 months. I think it was March this year they got sold. So they've been sold to Bahrain already.
Yeah.
And now they're sold to Abu Dhabi.
Perfect. That's nice.
So they're just doing a tour of the Middle East right now.
They might make it back to the UK at some point. It's just kind of normal, isn't it? Do you feel like it doesn't really happen too much with car manufacturers now? Everyone's kind of just they kind of just exist where they are. Remember years ago, it'd be like so and so's bought. So
everyone's trying to acquiring each other.
But it's like football clubs are owned by loads of English football clubs. None of them are owned by English companies.
Yeah,
so it's not. It doesn't really ever change.
Meanwhile, Volkswagen, I'll take the whole damn thing.
Give me everything.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take a Porsche.
I'll tell you what. You see those emissions. But yeah, it doesn't really change. I mean, if it makes them better,
yeah,
great.
sure, why not?
Yeah, because if we lost McLaren, I think I'd be kind of pissed.
Yeah,
it's
agree.
It's nice to have a British supercar maker.
Also, for instance, I don't mind the GT and the Artura.
Yeah,
they don't do that much for me, but I still I like seeing one around. But it's when they have stuff like the 675 or the 600 LT.
Yeah,
that's a cool thing around.
Yeah.
If we lost that, I'd be like, oh man. Yeah. What's the GT3 RS going to play with, man?
I also really want to go to the McLaren Technology Centre.
I will.
If you work there, if you know, we could have.
We could have, and we didn't.
We could have.
Yeah.
I can't remember what ridiculous we had to do. We were filming something.
I think we were buying the microcar.
Yeah.
It might have been
that's possibly the most TDC thing ever.
Yeah, although I'd buy the microcar 1,000 times over.
Would you like to come to the McLaren Technology Centre for a chat and a little tour around? Yeah, sure. Actually, no.
Oh, mate.
We have to buy
Birmingham.
there's this tiny little car for sale.
Have you ever heard of a micro car?
Yeah, we're going to go and rob a bank with it, and then potentially drive it under an underpass.
Yeah, which is mega illegal, but oh well. We will go back, and I will touch the McLaren F1s there. Yeah. I'll do it.
There's a secret room there, with stuff in it.
Oh.
My dad's been there, and he told me about it. I was very upset. I would like to go there.
I've also been told that there is a room that has it's like a records room that has a photo and like a sketch of every single McLaren F1 spec that they've all gone through, if you see what I mean. Because all of the McLaren F1s, because of how valuable they are, they go back to McLaren for any work to be done. So let's say you are a billionaire, you go and buy yourself a £50 million McLaren F1, they're not that much, but you then go to McLaren, you go, I don't like this magnesium silver car, I want it to be green and with blue interior. They will go, absolutely. We repaint it, we'll redo the interior at MSO, McLaren Special Operations. But they keep like a log of every spec that car.
Why is that?
Beavers for no reason.
That shouldn't have been funny, but it was.
They keep a record of every single spec that the car's been through with like sketches and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
The nerd in me wants to spend a couple of hours going, number 23 went from this to this.
I need more access. I told you I went to the Pagani thing, the museum.
Yeah.
And you can do a tour through the workshop there. I recommend that highly. But you're like stuck in a herd with other people, and like they ban your phone and you have to follow everyone else, and you can't just go and walk off. And that's all I want to do.
Yeah. Just
how do we get this access?
Please, we'll start off.
Guys.
We'll start off small if you want. You know,
Yeah.
TVR. If you, I don't know if that's still going at this point. You know, whoever. We'll start
Mini.
off. MG. Let's head over to China. Let's have a walk around, mate. Let's have a look around there.
British, mate. So yeah,
that's
let
news.
us in McLaren. I think that's news. There are some other newses.
Oh well.
Any other news you'd like to talk about, Ben?
Ben, any news from you, mate?
Ben's playing Angry Birds.
I'm actually buying podcast equipment.
We got.
Yeah, this isn't ours. We're borrowing it. Along with the bin, we're borrowing that as well.
Yeah, the only thing we do own is Need for Speed Pro Street, which is playing on the TV, which I told you in the last episode I would bring in, which is the one that we voted the number one. Oh, wait, no, it was number 3. The winner does not get to be on the screen. Number 3 does.
Also, we ranked Need for Speeds last week.
Yeah.
With Gran Turismo on the screen.
So now this week...
So we're going to rank supercars.
From the early 2000s.
From the early 2000s.
Which means I think we're going to have to get an Enzo on the plinth next week.
Yes,
so I don't know.
On the ramp, perhaps.
Yeah, not sure how we're going to go about that.
Yeah, if you got an Enzo, just let us know.
But yes,
right.
we it's something we argue about a lot. And, you know, one of us will say, I like this the most. And we'll be like, wrong. So let's do some ranking. We'll be a bit quicker with this one. Because I did look, I think it was like 18 minutes, 19 minutes it took.
Oh, yeah, but these things take time. You have to. Well, there's a few on here I think we might be able to just rattle through.
Yeah.
But simple rules. We have 20 cars or so, 10 spaces. So there are 10 that are going to they're going to be gone. They do not count.
Yeah.
This is a top 10. But when Ben gives it to us,
when Green Ben gives them to us,
when Green Ben gives it to us, say he says Nissan Micra, and we go that goes in at 9. We cannot take it out of 9.
Yeah, it's locked in.
If something comes in and we think it should be a 9,
cannot. We can't replace him.
We cannot replace him. So Ben, would you like to kick us off with the first on your list?
I'm going to kick off Koenigsegg CCX.
He has to be on there.
Okay, he's in the list.
Because he's the only Koenigsegg allowed. I think CCX car might have been, but...
CC8?
CC8 would be earlier.
But I think also, there will be others.
Yeah.
Like there's a million Zondas, there's a million different... But we've picked like, you know, either the best ones or the ones we like.
Which is, for me, the CCX.
CCX, that's peak. That's
orange.
That's my childhood Koenigsegg.
So I grew up... Also, you went there at some point, right? Lamborghini Pangborn?
Yes.
You ever go there? So Lamborghini Pangborn, back in the day, in the early 2000s, was a Spiker and Koenigsegg dealer.
Crazy.
And my siblings went to school like around there. And one day we were driving. I don't think I'd ever like been to pick them up before. We just drove through this tiny little town. Pangborn's like this little lovely little village. And I looked to my side, and there was, I don't know what the name of the color is, but it was the orange. It was probably a CC8 because it was an early
CCR?
one. CCR maybe?
I think CCR.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that exact car.
And I just remember going, please, can we turn? And because I was with my mum, she was like, no. And then when I got home, I said to my dad, please, can we go look at it? And he wasn't that interested. And then I said, there's also a Spiker in there. My dad is Dutch. So he went, let's get in the car. We got to have a look at that. Let's go have a look at that Spiker. And I remember looking around it and thinking, the Koenigsegg, and go, and this was before Top Gear.
Yeah.
Before it was on Top Gear, it was there. I just remember looking around going, what is this foul beast?
To be fair, I have a it might be the same car. I have a picture of me as a small boy at MPH, the old Top Gear.
Oh, in that car?
The old Top Gear show in front of an orange CCR.
Yeah.
It could be that car. But I went to Lamborghini, well, what wasn't, it was Pangborn, whatever.
Yeah.
Then. And they had a green Murcielago 6.2, which just set me off.
The guy.
They had, I think it was the grey CCX.
Yes.
And the Spiker, and it was the Spiker with the proper boat wheel.
Yeah.
I probably have the YouTube video for that.
Have to pull it up.
Filmed on an old
Stick
Nokia.
it on, if we have it on screen, we'll
I
put it
might
on
have
screen.
to. I'll have to sift through the archives, but
Also, if we've got a tangent like this on every car,
no, it's
we're
fine.
done for. CCX.
Yeah, wait, but CCX. I'm trying to think.
I don't think he's top 5.
Oh, that's tough.
But
That's
think
tough.
of who we're gonna have, because we're gonna have stuff like Enzo. We're gonna have stuff like Carrera GT.
I was gonna.
I love him.
I was
a
gonna
lot.
go.
I love him a lot.
I
could go green on 5 though. You know what?
All right, fine.
I was gonna say all right, fine. 4.
That 5.
5.
4, 4, 5.
Ben,
5, 4.
what are you choosing? You don't get to say 5.
5.
I'd probably put a 5 as well, to be fair.
Okay,
just feels harsh.
that means we must be 4.
It feels harsh, but fine. 5.
5.
Celine S7.
Out.
I agree.
Ooh,
Actually-
now hold on, because he's got some influence in life.
Famous from Liar Liar. Not
And
Liar Liar.
no,
Bruce Almighty. Bruce Almighty.
I saw him in Bruce Almighty. I was like, "What's this?" And then I booted up Midnight Club and went, "Hello, mate."
I remember as a very young boy wondering what the difference was between that and a McLaren F1. I was like, that's the same.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Why is that a long tail?
Gordon Murray hearing that. Americans just putting all the power in the world in a normal car.
Oh, I do remember it being 1,000 horsepower, the twin turbo.
Something silly.
And I was like, what? That's like back then. That was
1,000
wild.
horsepower.
Yeah, outside of a Veyron, like,
And a Supra.
Yeah.
No one's doing that.
yeah, stock one.
Yeah, stock
one.
Stock internals.
Remapped. Yeah, remapped. Just a remapped Supra. Okay,
Ah,
Celine,
he's either
I am
out-
willing to.
He's either out or he's number 10.
He's 11.
Yeah,
Therefore he's out.
I can agree with you.
Yeah,
I
he's
can
out.
agree with you on
He's
that.
out. A Gumper Apollo.
Now, influential for youngness. You know, when I was Top Gear, that was cool. But I don't. If I saw one today, I'd be like, "What the hell, Gumper Apollo?" But it wouldn't bring me joy.
No, it reminds me of the Top Gear thing. I think they're quite hideous. It's an Audi engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Have you seen the?
us singing a unit with a Zafira on the left? Gumper. I mean, I'd never have one.
Also,
of those.
they had to change their name from Gumpert.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're just called Apollo now.
Apollo IE. No, yeah.
Which is the
In example, I
F12.
wouldn't have it in this list.
Yeah, exactly. So he would be like 20.
Ooh, okay, he's out.
He's out.
okay.
We better start filling some up soon.
Yeah, what we got? We got
rid of-
5.
Yeah, we got 5.
That's it.
SSC Ultimate Aero.
Out. Oh, I don't know, actually. It was a top speed.
But here's a question for you:
I'm starting to run out of.
does he beat? Who's number 11 again? My brain's not doing well right now.
What did we just have?
Who did we just have that we?
What did we just
kicked
knock
then?
out? A Celine.
Celine. No, see,
No, you
Celine's
knocked
above. American-wise,
But it-
SSC was faster,
It was the fastest car in the world.
but a Celine to me is better than an SSC.
All right,
'Cause I
12.
hate. What are the
Therefore
front
out.
lights? Are they 206?
Something awful. Yeah.
Something weird on them.
Okay, out.
We're getting through the outs. This is
Yeah.
good.
Caparo T1.
Out.
You're going to run out of cars.
We have one car. It's a Koenigsegg CCX, and that's it.
The best car is the 5th best supercar.
Also, last week we missed out number 5. This week, just number 5.
just not 5.
This is a good one. SL65 Black.
no,
Not a supercar.
not supercar. No.
Wow,
supercar.
really?
But
Well,
I mean,
sorry. On paper,
yeah,
supercar,
paper,
but it's
yeah.
an SL.
Yeah.
Out.
Fair.
Damn.
If your granddad can drive one, can't be on there.
Reventon.
Now, there is another Lamborghini that will come on the list, and that, for reasons biased, I would put higher. But the Reventon,
That is a special. If I still have never seen a Reventon driving.
no,
my
there is a car dealer in Surrey,
Romans?
Superventura.
Oh, Super Vituria, yeah.
They had a Reventon Roadster,
silver, like
in
the
there
lighter
once.
colour one,
Yeah,
right?
they had
Yeah.
one there. And I remember seeing it through the window. Oh my god!
I
There
think-
is no other thing. Like Lamborghini, like modern Lamborghinis kind of look similar to a Reventon.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
But that then
The angles
good
on that
lord.
guy.
Ooh, and
He-
like the dash cluster that looks like a fight. Ooh.
Also, like new Lamborghini one-offs, your I was about to say Aventador J, but that's too similar. Like your Cyans and stuff, they're too busy.
yeah,
No, I've never seen a car that can look so angry, but it's so simple.
yeah.
Like if you go and look at a photo of a Reventon, you could have like, it's not that far different from a Murcielago, but yet, And there's 20. There's 20 and then 5 roadsters. I forget how.
Some ridiculous.
I forget the numbers, but I don't think he's top 5.
This is people are going to be going mad.
I think he's
Revented and
7.
Koenigsegg. Ooh!
That hurt my ears.
I think he's a number 7.
6. Come on.
All right, I'll compromise. I'll go number 6.
All right, we've got 5 and 6. People are going to be going crazy that we've got a Reventon in 6th and a Koenigsegg in 5th.
Aston Martin 177L.
Now we are running out of space.
Yeah, Ben, how many have we got left? Can I get a check?
You got this one, so 1, 2, 3.
Ben goes, you've got 2 left.
Everything is now in the list. We just where it goes.
You got 13 left.
Okay, so,
We can rattle them off a little bit.
I think it's a no to 177.
I
think they're cool.
I don't know. It's a cool engine.
Yeah. 7 litre
It looks
V12.
great. Yeah, 7.
Something big.
It's Cosworth.
Something big this way comes.
I don't know why. For whatever reason, the 177 to me, I never cared for it too much because I always thought it was just a DB9 or a Vanquish or a DBS engine
With something,
that looked a bit fancy. But it is.
It's its own.
It's a big boy engine.
Yeah.
But I'd still have him out. Whoa!
This is tough.
I could have him
At 10.
I could have him at 10.
I could.
Otherwise, there's no
I
Aston in the top
vote-
10.
I don't think that's the worst thing.
Okay.
I vote out.
All right. Out. Next.
Alpha 8C.
Out.
Fair.
Not.
I love incredible.
Because otherwise, could I put a Maserati Gran Turismo?
Yeah,
in this
and
top
also
10?
177 not being in there, but an 8C is. That's tough.
It's pretty and it's nice, but nah.
Corvette ZR1, but a C6.
I love.
I was going to say
I
the
don't
same
like
thing.
American cars.
To me, I think that's number 10.
Oh, now. I don't think he can be in there.
But and I know it's not.
I
you know what it is?
I would, however,
It is
for
America's
America-
supercar. It is America's supercar of the time. Like I know Celine's and stuff are there, but they weren't.
Is it a supercar?
Yeah, because I think
So what about a GTR then?
huh?
What about the GTR?
Nah, they didn't like different gravies.
That's tough to hear.
I think a Z06 to a GTR. That's a comparison I'd make.
That's crazy.
But a ZR1,
But why?
he's just different gravy.
I saw a ZR when I went to the States this year. I went to a Cars and Coffee
Oh yeah.
in Florida. That was bad. And they had a yellow, some guy had a yellow ZR1, but with chrome wheels, which I would not have chrome wheels, but in the States, I'm having them chrome.
Yeah, they are. They
Completely
belong.
stat. And the way that thing sits for a standard car, wee mama.
Listen, I put it up to you. I'd have him at 10, but if you want to veto him, you may veto him.
I'll put him at 10 because do you know why? Because he's got a piece of plastic in the bonnet. And goddamn, I seen supercars and you can see the damn engine. And that's how I know. So, okay, I'd put him at 10. Propping up the table, the ZR1.
SLR.
He has to be there. He has to. And I don't care for
9.
Mercedes that much. What we got? We've got 5 and 6.
5, 6, and 10.
I think he's more 7.
8.
Sold to the highest bidder. 8.
SLR at 8. Cool.
Do love them.
Something about it doesn't. I think it's the
engine
it's
for
the,
me.
It's the extended SL,
Yeah.
which I know it's not, but
But same with the engine. The engine is like, it's a whole new thing. It's an E50. It's a 5 with a supercharger.
there's something weird about those that you can't jack it up like per corner.
Oh, yeah,
type
yeah.
thing. It like
Was
has
that-
to be on a proper
Is that
lift.
an Ed Bolian story or something? I feel like I remember that from there.
I think it was actually from an old job.
From an old job?
From somewhere we worked.
Ah, yes. That we'll have to tell that story one day.
Yeah,
That's a
one-
great place
one
to do
day.
it. And it's not the one you think.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Really not. Trust me, you haven't heard of it.
Oh.
But anyway, also there was an SLR there actually.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was where I heard that. But also, I can't really imagine. It kind of sounds like, well, that's a bit weird. But can you ever imagine an SLR just being jacked up with a trolley jack on one corner? Sorry, Matt, I'm just going to do the brake discs
I mean,
on this one.
some rappers one in the early 2000s definitely got that done for some aftermarket.
Do you know what?
Wheels.
One of the things I do like about the SLR is we have in the UK we have Mercedes-Benz World,
Yeah.
which is actually quite boring because it used to be better. Now it's kind of more of a dealership, but you could sit in every single car.
Yeah.
but
Test drives
they,
back.
they had a they had like an exclusive bit, and I think it's now Maybach.
Right.
And they also have a service center there, and you could look through the glass and you could see. But they had one room, and it was just SLRs.
Oh.
So there was a room, and the door was shut, and the glass was slightly tinted. But through that room, you could see the SLRs.
Just SLRs.
They had like one SLR on display, but in that room were the SLRs. And then downstairs, I think in the workshop, you could see the SLRs. Like that's where they came in for service because it was like big Mercedes service.
We are. Yeah.
That I was like, okay, SLRs They're kind of exclusive.
So wait, have we locked that in?
Where do we put him?
I can't remember. Ben, have we locked in
8. I think
SLR?
it's at 8, right?
SLR is in at 8, yes.
Lovely.
Okay, who is next on the list?
Next up is best car, Carrera GT.
7.
What?
Are you crazy, man?
Have you heard of cars?
Are you actually crazy, man?
7.
No.
I would put the Carrera GT. Do you know what it is?
Well,
Look,
it's
the
crazy.
engine's great and all that.
Will, we're too far apart. 'Cause I'm at
Engine's great
I'm
and
at
all
number
that.
2.
Because, have you ever heard an M57? No. It has the same kind of vibe to me as an SLR.
No.
L.
Straight up, no. A custom developed V10. When you hear them,
It does look like a Boxster.
no.
That is crazy. Oh, I was about to say, best looking car as well.
Whoa!
Yeah!
Guys, if
But
you
you
want
would
Ben
like
to
a
comment
Boxster.
less on the podcast, do let us know.
Wow.
There's a little
There'll
crossover
be 2
there.
comments from Will and I.
Ben would like the Boxster that we've just got.
Yeah, this is why he's...
And also thinks the Carrera GT is best looking car.
Not best looking, but I think best looking car Porsche's made.
Ooh. Best looking.
In modern
most
times,
different.
not like air cooled stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't really say Porsche doesn't really have a best looking car because they're all very similar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, by default it wins. Well, I'm at number 2.
Well, wow.
I'll meet you at 4.
I'll meet you at 3.
Yeah, fine. That works for me. You wanted 7.
Yeah, but
I said 4.
I might regret this. All right, 3.
Yeah, cool. 3. I like it.
Hold on to your seat, Will. Zonda F.
He's 2. 2 for me.
Yeah, he's a minimum 2.
Why? You want
I
one?
was considering 1.
Now I can agree with you, but we cannot replace him, and you know who's coming.
He's next as well.
Is he next?
Yeah.
Is he?
So
Is he who I think he is?
I'm at number 2 for
2.
him.
Okay.
Next one's
Zonda
1.
Zonda F. You know what? I'm buying a Zonda F before I'm buying next mentioned car. But in the list of he's in the Hall of Fame. He can't come first.
Zonda. Phooey.
Zonda is.
Phooey.
I'd die happy driving a Zonda.
And again, there are other Zondas in the 2000s. I guess you could have had
Tricolor, yeah.
the original Zonda is 90s.
Yes,
C12.
C12 and a C12
S is not.
I think it's 2000 or
When
something.
they actually put a good engine. Well,
But
a better
Zonda
engine in
F,
it. But Zonda
he's
F,
mid-2000s.
That's your boy.
He's the guy.
Okay, 2.
Ben, take it away.
He's here. Murcielago SV.
It's not who I was actually expecting.
Oh, really?
It's not who I was.
You thought.
I'm not. I
You
thought.
You thought the big guy with the sunglasses.
Yeah, I thought the hat was on.
Yeah, I thought.
Now,
wait.
who do we have left?
Okay, Murcielago. Now I'm going to be mega biased here because
What do we have left? 4? Is 4 available?
You've got 4. You have 1, 4, 7, and 9.
Now
It's 4
the
or
child
7.
in me. Is it? Oh, I want to put it at 1.
No, surely not. Not when you know who's coming. He who shall not be named.
I want to put it at 1, but I won't. I'll put him at
4
4.
then. I'll meet you at 4.
See you at 4.
See you at 4.
Do you know what?
PM.
There's a couple of cars coming, and they're going to be so far down the list.
What is it?
This is not easy. This really isn't easy.
Enzo.
He has to be 1 for me. That's the
Yeah,
one.
But there's other guys coming.
Who? I can't think.
There's one other guy that I think could go at 1.
So do I.
Well, I don't know what I'm forgetting
But-
here. Oh God, no!
But I wouldn't be
Oh,
upset.
no.
I wouldn't be upset with an Enzo at 1.
I know what I've done. Yeah, I've forgotten the big guy.
The big,
I've forgotten the big.
you know, the big guy.
Oh no!
You know that French guy.
Oh no! I've ruined
And
it.
now we know what we have left.
So
Knowing
we've
now
got
what we
1,
know,
7, and 9.
179.
So either the Enzo.
See, now here's the thing: the elephant in the room, he who shall not be named now,
Yeah.
can't be 7. So the Enzo's going to have to go at 7.
That's tough.
But yeah, he's going
Hang
to.
on. Whoa. Can we get. Let's just. The Enzo is, according to us, less than a Reventon and Enzo. I don't know, actually.
You know what? I'm a mechanic.
Less than a Murcielago.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. To me, yeah.
No. Number 7, the Ferrari Enzo.
Things no one has ever said in this list.
Damn it.
Next, please.
MC12.
Love him, but he can't be above an Enzo, and I don't think the Enzo's there. He's representing for the MC12.
But could he be 9?
Who else?
Quite cool.
Who else have we got? Have we got?
I
Some
think
other
that's one of the
How many
best
more have we got,
looking.
Ben?
1, 2, 3, 4.
So we've got 4 left and 2 spaces.
Oh no.
There are a couple of guys coming I can think of.
You're cheating. You've got the list.
I'm looking at the actual.
Oh, where
rankings.
Ben's putting in.
Yeah.
I think not. I think we don't. Because there might be someone coming.
Enzo's fighting his corner.
Yeah, something
But I
wicked
do
may
like the
this way
MC12.
come.
All right.
So
Okay, hit us with the next one.
Ascari KZ1.
He doesn't belong.
no. Is it AZ1?
KZ.
Is it
AZ,
KZ1?
KZ.
Either one. Cool,
Put
but
it this
no.
way, we don't remember. Therefore, it's
Therefore, it's
not
not
on
in
the
there. Also, that I think had Peugeot lights. That I think had 206 lights.
list. Yeah.
Viper ACR.
Cool, but no.
No. Yeah, he's like same kind of fodder as the ZR1, but I don't like it as much.
Oh no. Oh, actually, we've got space. I think it. I think
You
it,
thought America, and you know what's coming.
I know what's coming.
I know where he's
and,
going.
and he should be.
He's going.
He's nice.
You've got 2 left, and there's, to be fair,
It's 2 left?
logical places to put them.
I think it's
All
okay.
right, there we go.
4GT.
Yeah.
8 or whatever,
Is it 9?
whatever
No,
that space is.
9.
9.
Okay.
I'm mildly annoyed by that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I do like that.
He is.
I once saw a Ford GT. When I
Great, man. Have a good one.
when I was a kid, again, I'll have a video of this probably. Outside the Tesco's near me, it's like relatively rough-looking Tesco's. There was like a snotty-looking recovery truck with a Golf liveried Ford GT on the back.
Oh, that's a special
My
one.
mate called me. He was like, "There's a Ford GT outside Tesco's." I was like, "Nah, there's not."
Yeah, sure, mate.
That's not. I wrote down there.
That's a Focus.
Back of like a Transit, just a Ford GT on Arab plates.
Oh,
So he didn't care.
no, it's
As long as it made it to London, it was good.
exactly, yeah. So number
but,
one,
He's
Number
here,
one.
boys.
he's here. And again, well, also, although I say this, that I don't care. It's not that I don't care, but I never cared that much about it.
But
He was a
he
bit
is-
overhyped. But nowadays,
He's the guy.
put him in Ben. So
Bugatti Veyron.
what
Bugatti.
colour? What colour is yours?
I haven't got one.
You haven't.
But if I was to get one, it would be brown.
Oh, okay. That's what colour is your Bugatti?
Brown?
That's the color of the
That's the
Bugatti,
colour, yeah.
of the ship.
Number one Bugatti Veyron. I think he's the most influential. He's
Big supercar.
he is.
Big
I said
hypercar.
I said the other week when I was at school that the Enzo was the N20
You were at
argument.
school the other
I was
week.
at school the other week. I said that the Enzo was the N20 argument
Yeah.
until the Veyron came out.
Yeah.
Then that was the be all and end all of cars.
I think there's good arguments for lots of those to be won.
yeah, but to go
it was
in
the
front of a
fastest boy.
Veyron,
It was the man.
Yeah.
It was Concorde man.
yeah, genuinely. And,
Just wafting past everyone.
and I didn't care that much about it when it came. Well, no, sorry. When it came out, I did. And then as I got a little bit older, I was like, it's a bit overhyped. Every child on the internet, Bugatti Veyron.
Yeah.
But now, when you see a first gen Veyron, especially single color Veyron, they've aged so perfectly. They're dated. They're very old.
Oh
looking.
yeah, they are. Yeah. But also they're kind of a classic design because there's not much to it.
No, yeah, it's Long Beetle.
Yeah. And I like the black and blue.
Oh,
I remember the first time I saw one. I saw it in London, and it was just a glimpse because it just flew down the other way. It was the first time I saw a Veyron. I was like, my god, I've just seen like the Veyron. Like that is Veyron.jpg. That is the one.
I was in Ben. Can you while I tell this, can you please find out when Super Sports came out? Because when I moved to South Africa, my family and I lived in the middle of the desert in the northern Cape of South Africa. If you're from South Africa, we lived 80 kilometers outside of Uppington. There's one for you. And right around that area, the European car manufacturers do testing. They do hot weather testing, mainly Volkswagen Group. And a friend of mine, while I was on summer break, what do you call that here? Summer
holidays.
Summer holidays, that's the word. I'm English and yet I can't remember that word. Said he used to do cycling like in the desert, just in the middle of nowhere, like for heat training. And he came back one day and he was like, I saw cycle past on the side of the road some Bugattis. And I was like, we didn't, did you? You didn't cycle past Bugattis, did you? And he went, yeah, I promise. I was like, okay. And he said the top half was like grey and the bottom half and the wheels were orange.
Oh.
And I was like, and this was 2008.
Yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't exist. They're two-tone. The stripe goes up the side.
Yeah.
It's not how a color combination on a Veyron goes. And he went, I promise it was literally orange along the bottom. I was like, all right, mate, sure. Lo and behold, a year or two later, Super Sport comes out in
2010 to 11.
there you go, in 2010. So before, and he had a photo of this. I remember him showing me and being like, no, I think they're fake or something. But they were testing Super Sports on the road in South Africa.
Yeah.
If that was me now, I would have camped out in the desert for days,
Waiting,
just
yeah.
waiting for something to drive
Also, you would
past.
have seen it at like full chat as well.
Yeah, they used to, even on the public roads, they had permission to send them. Oh, imagine that. Just sitting on the side of the road and coming past you. But so there you go.
Also, like the Bugatti, because it had like a bit of a like, especially because that was peak Top Gear as well, and Top Gear never got to put it around the track, and it was like this big build up to when it actually did go around the track. But one of my favorite Top Gear segments, outside of all like the silly challenges and stuff, was the Hammond racing the Eurofighter,
The jet,
is because there's a bit in that where he says, if you're watching this and I think he says you're 8 years old,
I'm
thinking this is cool. It is.
Yeah.
I was like, that looks like if you get, because I think Chris Harris did a similar thing with the Speedtail.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's just cool.
I want to be racing planes.
Any car that can sit alongside a fighter jet, and you look at it and go, damn, that's cool. Hey, you sit at number one, you're good.
You're the guy. Ben,
okay.
can I get a readout, please, of the list? And you're going to be upset.
Have we got leftovers?
So am I.
We got leftovers after Veyron?
No, that was it because you eliminated so many at the start.
I think a couple blunders, but overall, I'm happy.
I don't know.
Let's go, Ben.
I'm fine because you can't move some of those around.
No,
whatever.
We can only play the game that was dealt to us.
We've got in 10th place the Corvette C6 ZR1.
Lovely.
9 Ford GT.
Yeah.
8
America bringing up the rear.
Mercedes McLaren SLR.
I'm happy with it.
Yep.
7 Ferrari Enzo. It's tough to see. 6 Lamborghini Reventon. 5 Koenigsegg CCX. 4 Murcielago SV. 3 Carrera GT. 2 Zonda F, and number 1 Veyron.
You know what? Apart from the Enzo, I'm happy.
A couple of notes. I mean, realistically, a Reventon should be above a Murcielago.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It probably should be.
Quite literally, could only be above.
Also, a Celine probably sits above a ZR1.
Yeah, but I think to me, I'd be more happy.
Have you ever seen a Celine?
No, I've never Celine. But I think I'd be more excited to get behind the wheel of a ZR1 than I would a Celine.
Okay.
Because it's just cool.
I'm as happy as I could be. Plus, it'll cause some arguments.
Yeah, great. Let us know which way we did it wrong.
Yeah, that's actually quite a headache.
Yeah. We're going to move on to a section now that we've only done once before, but I kind of forgot about it, but I'd like to bring back because I like it a lot. And that is, we both listen to a lot of 80s, 90s, and early 2000s hip hop. It's the reason that this podcast is called C.R.E.A.M, because we both love, that
Cream.
sort of rap. And also, they talk a lot about cars in them. It's why I like early 2000s rap, because it was in every Need for Speed. So each week, we take a song that we've been listening to, maybe one that we've heard a lyric of, and we'll bring it to you as a great lyric about cars. My one this week is a guy I've been listening to recently. It's Paul Stephen or Paul Stefan. He's an English grime artist, I believe.
Paul Stephen, he kind of sounds like he would.
He does Windows.
He's like a mechanic.
Yeah.
Paul Stephen cars.
He's got some very good songs. P&A is a great one that's just come out. But I was listening to one. It's called We're Demand Dem Dare, I think is what it's called.
Okay, right.
But it's, you know what? We'll discuss it after, but let me just read it. But in the context of England, maybe if you're not from the UK, a German refers to a new German car. You might be blinging in a German. That's one, for instance. So it refers to an M car, a Maybach, a Merc, something expensive.
It's probably like an S3 or something. In reality.
Yeah, it's probably an S3. Yeah. But the lyric is, what about your German if you can't maintain it? Cop a Toyota or a Honda Civic. Now that's good buying advice from Paul.
Advice.
Usually it's I'm putting Dobbs on the Merc, but Paul, he's looking out for us. He's saying, have you considered the maintenance cost on your S3? When in fact, a Honda Civic could provide better value for money.
It's fair,
and it is good car buying advice in a grime song.
Never mind singing about Bugattis.
No.
Never mind your supercars and you're paying ridiculous sums of month for any other car.
You can't maintain
it.
Go and get a Toyota. Doesn't say which one, but Toyota good build
or a Civic
or a Honda Civic, which is steadfast.
Any Toyota or a
Honda Civic. But I like it. I listened to it and I went,
solid advice.
That's great advice, mate.
What car? By Paul Stevens.
And yours for the week?
Mine is this is also a UK. This is from Getz, who's quite well known in sort of the UK grime.
One of the godfathers of,
No, I couldn't quite believe this one. I don't know if a viewer told us about this.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, if that was you, thanks. The lyric goes, I'm going to say this first bit so it doesn't sound as suggestive as it is.
Okay.
Can't keep the bra on.
Okay.
Now I got a hard on.
Okay.
Golf GTI Mark 1. Oh, that's how long I've had cars from.
Sick. Cool lyric.
MR2s and MX5s. What? REAL better recognise.
Whoa!
So that is a grime rapper singing or rapping about a MX-5.
Yeah, I mean, Mark 1 Golf, kind of cool, a bit retro at this point. I don't know how much street cred you get for an MR2 or an
No.
MX-5.
How many times has an MX-5 been used in any song?
Also, in a grime or rap song,
Yeah.
that would be, none, I think, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something you want to shout about.
No, I just can't imagine it either.
Yeah.
Are you just watching one of the music videos and they're just like...
They're repairing rust on their rear quarter.
It's just broken down.
Installing a turbo kit.
That really interests me. That might be one of those lyrics where you don't actually hear... You just wouldn't compute that that's what he said.
Yeah, it just...
But
the flow's so good that you're like... Also, MX-5, it's an NA 1.6 auto.
Oh, yeah.
And then the MR2, I don't think it's a turbo. I'm thinking it's a Rev 1, early one, auto.
Yeah.
Just base model.
But maybe, or like one of the, like a typical UK MR2.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, like red.
With a body kit and a horrible wing. But like standard wheels, standard interior.
Everything's normal, yeah.
It's in it, yeah. So that took me by surprise, that
Guess
one.
if you're listening to this, send us some photos of the car. Because
Yes,
I'd love to
tell
know
us.
which MX-5s and MR2s. Because
Send us. And Golf Mark 1 you mentioned.
that's cool. Unironically, that's cool.
Golf GTI Mark 1.
Who knows? Is it campaign? Is it is it a clipper cab? Because I'm not as big of a fan then, mate. So we'll come back with some more lyrics next week. I like that.
Right. This is the segment of the podcast called The Forum. Ben is the voice of you, the people. You have asked your questions. We have chosen one of your questions. Ben is going to ask us that question.
Here we go. From Josh Bailey, 9313.
Hello, Josh.
He has asked.
You were born in a very weird year.
2013.
No, 9313. That's in the future.
No, 9th to the 3rd, 13.
Oh, whoa, Josh, mate.
So
You're
he's
11 years old. What are you up to? Anyway,
exactly.
have a good one.
Anyway.
Question for the people who don't know cars. Tools. How do you get them all? Obviously buy them, but how are they so expensive? Also, what are tools you need to start to work on your car with?
Very valid point.
That's a very good question. Good stuff. You taking away? You want me to take away?
I would say, I remember actually the first time I saw like my dad's tools, I was like, how'd you get that?
Yeah.
Where'd you get them?
How much this?
Wait, say that again. How did you get that? Now, this is what I think. You can buy like the basic tools. It's things like maybe spanners or sockets and a ratchet. They're like your bare minimum, something you'd go to Halfords or other such stores.
I was going to say that.
And you buy the generic socket set with screwdrivers and what they're your basics.
Yeah.
But then after that, unless you've got lots of money, like lots and lots of money, you're never ever going to just buy it. Right, I'm going to buy
Sets
this
of
set
things.
and that's
Yeah, no.
everything.
Agreed.
You can do that, but again, that will be so much money. You as you go through working on your car, you go through pain. You go through pain. You will be in ruin.
Yeah.
And then you will go, I wish I had a tool to do this job.
And you go,
or I have to have a tool to do this
You go
job.
on the internet, they go, you could have saved 6 hours if you just had this tool. And then you go, usually it's because you go, I don't need no tool.
Yeah.
And then you spend 7 hours doing a job and go, I'm going to go and buy the tool now. So that next time I do this, it's not like that.
Yeah. Like brake caliper tools.
Oh.
When you do brakes, brake pads or something like that, you normally need to wind the piston back because the pad has worn, and then you need to wind it back so you've got wind it back because you're putting a bigger pad in. You can do that. I once did that on a car, and again, I was lucky that the actual piston pushed back relatively, not easily, but freely.
Yeah.
I did it by hand with my and my thumbs were numb for a week.
Oh yeah, I have bruises multiple times because what I do is I put a hammer head, not the shark, no, just an actual one. I put the rubber like a mallet head here, and then with the end of the hammer there, and then I put the caliper on, like push it in, and it works.
Yeah.
But I have a bruise every week because of it. But a proper brake caliper tool, also in an age where you can go on the internet now, because we're probably right at the tail end of that. When I was 17, saved up some money and walked into Halfords. How many of you have got the Halfords advanced tool set? It's a lifesaver. Like it will do
Snapped off bits in it.
Yeah, it will do 99% of the job you need.
Yeah.
So like Will says, start with a starter kit on online. You can get them cheaper and probably better. For a good deal. And then after that, it's buy it when something goes wrong and you need it. Buy it because something has taken you too long and it could have saved you time. And number 3, steal it.
What are some good extra tools outside of that?
Well, hold on.
Hammers?
How many tools have you stolen? Because I've stolen quite a few. When you borrow a tool from someone.
I borrow a tool. I have a mate, Robbie, my mate. I have your small ratchet.
Yeah.
I've had that for 10 years.
Yeah, an X5 Will who bought the Aston Martin with me. I looked in the back of my 8 Series the other day. I have 4 of your spanners, and I know you're missing them because he rung me when he came back from work and went, "Did you have my spanners?" I went, "No, mate."
I also have a very long pry bar, but it was sort of stolen. I once took my E46 M3, my old one, for a alignment, and I picked the car up, took it home, and I looked in my scuttle panel, and there was a pry bar in it. I'm not taking it back. You left that there.
You know what that exactly is? It's the equivalent of when you put on some old jeans or something and find money in the pocket. Yeah. It's free. Yeah, it's incredible.
We got some free tools out of that S3. Did we get it out?
Yeah,
no, we got it out. There was a socket between the engine and the gearbox, which is where you want to.
It was a number 5 Allen as well, which we were always missing.
Yeah.
So places to start. That's good. Like tools that have been useful for us. A ratchet set.
Yeah, ratchet set.
If you're going to be doing lots of car work, an impact gun.
An impact gun is a lifesaver.
It really is. And you don't need to buy a new one. You don't need to. I invested, because of the amount of work we did, in a Milwaukee, Snap-on. Too much money.
Yeah.
Snap-on's great, but you can get a Milwaukee, which is, in my opinion, just as good quality, but cheaper. Yeah. But still expensive. But you can go on eBay. You can find, they're usually stolen.
Used tools are,
they're usually stolen.
They're normally laid out in the back of a van.
Yeah.
But there are lots of people who do spend lots of money on tools, and then they sell their old stuff. I actually did it recently. I bought a torque wrench, like a Halfords one, which are, I think, they're normally quite expensive actually, sort of £100 plus.
I was going to say 70 quid.
I bought
minimum.
a used one for £30.
Yeah.
And I think it's fine. I don't know.
Torque wrench is a good one.
Yeah, torque wrench is a good one if you're getting into that stuff.
Get your big one first. Get your 1/2 inch. So if you don't know, you tend to have 3 different sizes of ratchet: 1/2 inch, 3/8, and a 1/4 inch. So small, medium, and large is what most people know them as if you're not American. So big one, your 1/2 inch. That's what you're doing wheels with. So I would start, because that's what you tend to do the most.
Yeah.
A torque wrench of one of those. You can torque up your wheels. You can make sure big bolts, which are kind of the important ones, need torquing. Then you can get a small one. Small torque wrench is always good, but I've kind of gotten away without using a small one for years, or borrow one. What else have we used that's good?
Some useful things that you won't get in your ratchet set: a hammer.
Absolutely.
It's a joke, but it's also actually true. There are many, many times where you may need a hammer.
Yeah, and if you end up using your ratchet to whack stuff, it will break.
It's going to
Ask me how I know, because I never buy a hammer.
I have a ratchet at home that it doesn't go. I can use it, but it doesn't ratchet.
That's the one. It's a spanner.
It's buggered, basically. It's completely ruined. Not a tool, but WD-40 or similar. There are others out there. There are others probably better.
Liquids are very... So, as you may know, if you've watched our YouTube videos, I love cleaning. But it's not necessarily the cleaning that I love. It's degreasing and getting rid of oil and that sort of stuff. Because a clean work area, when you're working on a car, I know it might not seem much, but it makes such a big difference. When you can see what color wires things are, when you put, your part down and it's not covered in oil, it helps. If your bolt heads aren't covered in oil, you're less likely to slip off them and round them. Just a wire brush with some cleaning stuff, either some foaming degreaser. Everyone always asks about what that is. I think it's 3-in-1 engine degreaser is the one I use. It's not that special either. Everyone thinks it's like my secret sauce. I mean, it is to me, but it's at Halfords. It's like £6. Yeah. And we've been sent some out. Motor Spa, I believe is what they're called. They sent us one. Works just as well, and it's probably Gunk works well.
Gunk. I got Gunk recently. Gunk's great. It foams like hell.
Yeah, anything foaming degreaser is really good. But WD-40, penetrant.
There's a bunch of others. Plus gas.
Yep, I was going to say maintenance spray. Yeah. Maintenance spray, which is basically a cheaper WD-40. Yeah. That does well.
Also, here's a great tool: bit of patience.
Very nice.
This is a bit of patience, and don't know what the equivalent to a driver mod is. But like
a patience mod.
Yeah, you're gonna mess things up.
Yeah.
So you are going to mess things up, and that's fine, because the next time you can mess it up again, but then the third time
you might get it.
You got that shit on.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Equally, in the other hand, something that I've learned over time is don't be gentle.
Yes.
Sometimes. in some cases, don't go wazzing your impact driver on small bolts, doing them up. But let's say it's like remove something. The amount of times that I'm like, I can't do it. And then I ask someone else who's been a mechanic for a while, and they just go, just pull it hard. And you do it, and you go, that's what it was just. Cars are quite strong things. They will stand up
to put through quite a lot.
Yeah. So when it's like, pull this connector off, as long as make sure that you're doing it right first. Make sure that there's no tabs or clips that you're missing. But 9 times out of 10, if you're doing it right and you're struggling to pull something off or put something on, it's probably because you're just not being forceful enough with it.
I have possibly. I don't know if this is a tool, but this is a recovery tool. A extendable magnet.
That is genuine in gold.
When I was building my Clio engine, I was putting the bolts back in the rocker cover. I bought new ones that had washers and stuff, so they looked a bit nice and they were stainless, so they wouldn't rust. I made the mistake of putting the bag of washers on top of the engine, and I heard this noise, like this sort of jangling noise. That's a strange noise, and it was all the washers falling into my head.
Yeah.
But I recovered every single one. Otherwise, I would have to take everything apart, ruin all the timing, take all the belts off, blah, blah, blah. But I got them all out with that little magnet. You can buy quite big ones for like picking up bigger bolts in like engine bays or whatever, but I bought a very thin one that you can get into little crevices. That will save you sometimes hours. Because if you have to take things apart or you've lost something, I cannot recommend a magnet enough.
Leading on to that, which is something that, granted, when we were working on driveways, is a luxury. But for those of you that are in a garage like we are, or a unit, a clean working area. Now that still does apply even if you are doing it on outside. Get a little microfiber or something that you're putting stuff on, because the amount of times that I've been on a driveway, I've put something down and it's disappeared off into the ether because I don't have a clean working area, or I've knocked over all of the bolts that were in an order. If you have a nice little area that you can put things that shouldn't be moved for a while, it will save you. And that's, in my head, that's actually the main thing about this question. It's not the tools, it's everything that attaches to the tools. Give yourself time to do stuff. Give yourself a clean working environment, clean stuff up, be patient. You can have one tool. You can do a spanner and you'll be fine.
Last weekend, when I was putting the engine in my Clio, and my dad came to help me, and again, because we'd been doing it the previous weekend, there was so much mess everywhere. He came around that day, and there was so much mess in my garage. I hadn't put everything back properly. But there was because I drained the oil, there was just a drain pan full of oil, but like just sat in the middle of the floor. And my dad said to me, because my dad's been working on cars way longer than I have. It's where I've learned stuff from. But he was like, you need to move that.
You will kick that.
You will step in it or kick in it or boot it over. I was like, no, I know where it is. He's like, trust me. He said, I've done it enough times to know the universe will draw you or someone to that, and you will step in it, fall in it, and then you will hate that. Like, you will be, how upset are you going to be?
Oh, yeah, when there's oil everywhere.
8 liters of oil. It's not going to be good. So just tidying things out of the way, making sure you're not going to, the amount of times I've gone, or balancing things in place.
It's not smart.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
You balance things in an engine bay. You go, I'll just put this spanner on the scuttle panel there.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, there it is.
Oh, well.
It's cool. It's stuck in between the exhaust manifold, and I'm never touching this car ever again.
That's another one. Again, from Top Gear. It was funny when I was a child, but it was very true. James, stop filing. Very good, but actually, I have tried to do it multiple times over the year. Every 20 minutes to half an hour, I used to set an alarm to do this. I would stop and clean up all the tools and put them all back again. Because if you don't do it, I mean, you can't really see behind currently, but there's a theory that we're working on. There's just tools everywhere. Because, when you're in the moment, you're like, it's a 12. No, it's not. It's a 13. So you take both of them out and then you leave them on the side of the car. And then you come 20 minutes later, you come back the next day and you go, where's the 12 gone? Which idiot has moved the 12? It's you. You're the idiot. You're always the idiot. That's
the worst thing.
Yeah.
Because there is no blame.
Exactly.
I used the 12.
So just put stuff back, be organised, be neat. So... I think that's the answer to our question is.
It was a very long-winded answer, but basically it's time, pain, organisation, cleanliness. But time is the main thing. I remember buying like the first set, or like you might get it for Christmas or something. Someone might go, you're into cars, here's a spanner.
Yeah.
But then over the years, you will build up enough tools to do enough jobs, and you will become ultimate car person.
Also, if you're, just a little side note, if you're doing like one model of car, you've bought an X, you go on the forums and look at what other people are doing with that job. Just keep an eye out when they'll say, you should use this. For instance, the Clio, to get the what's called the tensioner on the aux belt, you use there's a tool, or you can use what do you call it? A Jubilee clip.
Jubilee, yeah.
A Jubilee clip to squish it down, and then you can pop the belt off.
It is quite dangerous.
Of course, yeah.
But it's a budget way. It's a simpler way than buying the tool to do it.
But keep an eye out. Little things that people mention that they're like, you can use this tool to do this. You can cut down the side of an old socket to use it for like a O2 sensor removal. Anything like that.
A lot of the time, someone's had a go at doing one of these jobs.
Yeah.
And actually working on something that's never been worked on before.
Yeah.
Although you will find that many times. The amount of times I've looked up a problem and gone, no one's had this.
You got to work it out.
But that's the name of the game.
Also, most useful tool you'll ever get, friends. Friends who will come over
true.
and work on your cars with you. That's even if they don't do anything, even if they just stand there and go, "Oh man, that sucks, man."
How
It's
many
helpful
times have you had? You'd have someone else, or even when we've been doing stuff, and then a second pair of eyes
to go.
Someone else, you stare at something, there's just no way this goes on.
Yeah,
and then someone comes and looks at it and goes, "Have you tried that?" And you try it, and it works.
And 9 times out of 10, you've been working on it so long that you're not even annoyed that they've got it right. You're just thankful.
Yeah,
you're just like
friends, time, and pain.
They'll make any man a mechanic.
In any order, you can do either of those, but you can get some friends a bit sooner.
But good luck if you're going to start working on a car. If was it David? What's his name?
Jason
Derulo?
Jim?
Josh Bailey,
Josh
Bailey.
Josh, if you're about to start working on cars, Godspeed, sir. But also, have fun. Yeah. You'll enjoy it.
Just get a massive hammer.
One tool to rule them all. Shall we end on a quick argument?
Let's have a quick argument. Yeah. I got one for you.
We're both a little bit depleted mentally right now because we're sick. So this might end up just us agreeing. But please go ahead, Will. We like to also, if you didn't know, if this is the first time on the podcast, Will and I are very similar, as you might have worked out in this podcast. But we're also very different in a lot of ways. We argue about everything. Ben, there's no camera anymore, but Ben behind the camera will attest.
It's constant and never ends.
Very good. So, what would you like to argue about this week?
I got one.
Here we go, sports fans.
This is slightly touching on close to home.
Okay.
Green over tan.
Oh, okay.
And possibly green in general is overrated.
No.
Well, yeah, though.
But it's not, because it's only overrated because it's trendy now.
That's what I mean. It's like, I think it's
but as a base
I like
thing,
this because it's different.
Yeah, but I see now. This is easy for me because you've known me long enough that when it wasn't cool, I was still like, I want green. When I was 17, I'm like, I want green over tan. It's my thing.
My other thing with green over tan is that I do like it.
That's great, and thanks for listening.
No, I do like it, but I think you cannot apply anything green over tan. Like if someone sees a green over tan Skoda Octavia, they're like, "Whoa, that's so classy!" And no,
but that I agree. That's the trendy thing.
If I see like an Alpha or something like that, where it
lends itself to it.
It's not quite luxury, but it's that kind of thing. It works like that, but it's like it's this thing that anything green over tan, is automatically better. Yeah, I would admit the combo is nice, but it's the flat statement. It's like green over that rules, mate. You can't beat that spec.
What I think it is, and I feel this way towards. I've said this before about modifications. It's when you're first getting into cars. Some of you, if you're like us, you're veterans in the game. You'll look back at some of the things you used to think were nice, or you look back at things that you did to a car and go, "What was I thinking?" It's because you're getting into cars. You don't know that much yet. I look at some of the wheel specs that I used to think were good, and now I'm like, you clown, what are you talking about?
You silly man.
That's what I think green over tan enthusiasts are. They're just getting into cars. They've seen, a GT3 RS in orange or purple, and they see one in green with tan, and they go, why do I feel differently to this? It's not the green over tan that you think. It's just a more subtle spec that you I think anyone that's been into cars for a long while learns that subtle specs are actually a lot of the times the nicest.
Yeah.
You can, if I'm at a car show, I want the CCX to be in orange. But if I'm speccing one, I'm going to go a bit more calm. And green over tan is like the base argument to that. It's like, that means it's classy.
Yeah. It's not sophisticated.
There are 1,000 other specs out there. Best spec, great page on Instagram to follow. They're not all green over tan. Some of them on there are, and they might be good. But a lot of the specs out there are good, not because they're green, if that makes sense. So I kind of agree, but also that's how I'm speccing most cars. The F80, I was green over tan.
Were you?
I'm all green. Green is my favorite color for cars.
I think it suits something. It's got like that old British car vibe.
Yeah,
like not motorsport, but like E-type, that kind of thing, D-type, that where it sits, and maybe like some Ferraris, but like it just doesn't. When it's on like a performance car, I'm like, well, it doesn't seem to suit that.
Yeah, no, I for me, I like it, I love it, but it does come from that. It comes from like Who's classy? Gentleman racers.
Yeah.
They tend to be green with tan.
And that's the other thing is that like traditionally green was you found that with your M3, right? That green was kind of
everyone hated it.
Wasn't a popular color. It was an old man's color. And now it's gone through this cycle where everyone's gone, I hate that, I hate that, I hate that, I hate that. Whoa, you got a green car?
Yeah,
I'll pay you
it's
double.
rare because no one sees it.
Yeah.
Whereas you see, if you look at a 991 GT3, they're all white and orange and purple, and that's that's all you're gonna get.
Will we ever get will grey seats ever become cool?
It's like, whoa, hold on.
Who said grey seats? Someone said grey seats were cool.
Jay,
videographer, and no.
Jay, mate. SNL. Grey seats. Look, here's the thing. If your car's got grey seats and you like it, that's fine. But you're telling yourself a lie if you genuinely think that black seats or cream or something else wouldn't be better. Grey seats, lowest, bottom of the rung.
Bottom. That's just you've lost all imagination.
Yeah. So also we've managed to agree on an argument and then disagree with the audience.
And then we've managed to attack grey.
Yeah.
Off the back of that.
Green over tan, fine. Grey.
Yeah.
No.
I think I've possibly lost this argument. I'm not.
I was going to say I've lost it.
I think it's still overrated, but I would admit there are some I like, but I think it's overrated.
I think it's overrated right now.
Okay,
fine. But I will never not love it.
Deal.
All right, we'll meet in the middle.
Sold.
I think that might be our first ever agreement.
Nice
and
conclusion.
Ben didn't catch any, flack for that. That's usually Ben.
Ben's
usually
a tan man.
I like green over tan a lot, but I'm bored of it. Everyone.
But this is what I mean.
Everyone is
because it's the in thing.
But a tan or even a saddle leather interior. Oh,
but that's
you
the
like
same guy.
black over tan. Like you like that contrast.
big silver wheels.
Yep.
Black exterior, nice like metallic black exterior, and then a saddle leather interior. Any car, I don't care.
Nice, but that is quite old man.
I don't care. I actually don't care.
You have a big old dog.
And that's a great place to end the podcast. Thank you very much for listening to the Cars Rule Everything Around Me podcast. We'll be back next week, as ever, probably with a different set, as we seem to be different every single week. But thank you very much for listening. See you next time.
Yep.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money.
Dollar bills.
Bye.